Ladies and gentlemen, we have progressed past the need for Shipwheel Island, so I'd like to officially welcome you all to Risky Rock. And I would like to welcome you all to episode 3 of the Crossroads of Reality podcast. I'm Ben. Who am I joined by today?
I am Richard, as always.
And so we are here to mainly talk about season 43, episode 1 of Survivor
43.
But before we do that, we need to talk about the finale of Big Brother 24.
Because, honestly, I don't think we'd be talking about it if we weren't happy.
I think we'd be talking about it, just we wouldn't have this joyful ambition. Taylor fucking Hale is the winner of Big Brother 24. And if you told me that in July, I'd be like, you're crazy. Like, there's no way, after everything she went through at the beginning of the season, that she won Big Brother. And here she is, winning Big Brother. So I watched the finale all the way through, and I knew going into it, just via the live feeds, that Turner and Monty had won parts 1 and 2 of the HOH. So I was already kind of resigned to thinking, alright, well, Monty's gonna win Big Brother. Like, that's just how this is gonna go. Turner's gonna win final HOH, he's gonna evict Taylor, and Monty's gonna win. And I was fine with that. And then just watching it was such a roller coaster of emotions. But after Monty took Taylor to the end, after winning, I probably just realized we probably should have said spoiler alert.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. This entire episode is a spoiler alert.
Sorry. Just, don't... just skip for a bit, bunch of seconds, and yeah, it'll work. Sorry. But yeah, so once Taylor was taken to the end by Monty, I think we both knew that she was gonna win, and by God, she won, and it was amazing. Richard, what are your 2 cents?
No, I'm very happy with Taylor. Taylor, in my opinion, and I said this to Ben last night. It was last night, right? I'm not hallucinating.
Yeah, it was last night.
We're
filming this on a Monday.
Yes.
Big Brother finale was a Sunday.
Yes. In my opinion, she played the second best game of the season. My first pick would have been Michael. But I think that of the 3 people remaining, it was Taylor. Speaking to a lot of things, number 1, she voted in the majority every single time, which I think is sometimes it was just overall a very difficult thing to do to keep up with the rest of the house, and she did that very well. Very much so an underdog story. I think one of the reasons why she did so well getting to the end is because she was never perceived as too much of a threat, which is a very good thing. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't overloomingly obvious in the same way that it was for Michael. With Michael, it was kind of obvious, he was the big threat. But when it came to Taylor, she was a threat, but it wasn't as glaringly obvious as it was with Michael, which I think really helped her progress in the game really well. But yeah, I think she played a really good game. I think we both talked about this, Ben, that I think regardless of who she sat next to at the end, she would have won. She had the stronger game than both Monty and Turner.
She also had better ins with the jury, especially
Yes.
with Joseph and Michael. Biggest shock of the night for me, though, was Terrence. Was Terrence giving...
his vote to Taylor.
Yeah, after everything they went through, especially post, the split house double eviction, I was kind of amazed that that's how that went down, but honestly... It helped, and even she was shocked, as she said, walking out to the backyard. But overall, I really didn't keep up with Big Brother all that much until this season. By God, what a season to start with, because in all the rewatching I've done of Big Brother, this might go down as one of my favorites.
It was a great season. Honestly, I think to have these 2 seasons, 23 and 24, following up a duo of... Wow.
A duo of some of the Big Brother seasons of all time.
No, here's what I'm going to say. My general opinions on Big Brother 22. I think, okay, I like the rest of America pretty much. Really, really liked Tyler and Devon, and man, I was hoping for more, but they quickly got rear-ended out of the house, and then it was left at the point, and I agreed again with most of America, where... By God, if Cody does not win this season, this season was going to go to hell. And that is the only redeeming factor for that season. I'm happy with Cody as a winner. But wow, that was an awful season. And for me, BB21 will go down as probably one of my least favorite seasons in Big Brother history.
BB21 was rough. Like, the pre-merge of BB21 sucked, the post-merge was decent, and then Jackson Mickey wins the thing.
I'm currently trying to figure out, do I prefer 21 or 15? Both, in my opinion, very, very, very mediocre seasons. No, not even mediocre, below mediocre. Awful seasons. I mean, listen, both had racists, both had bad winners.
I like Andy.
Andy's a mid-winner. Andy, the thing
He is, but he's not as bad as Mickey.
I agree with that, but at least, okay. No, yeah. The thing is, Andy isn't as bad of a winner as Mickey is. But Andy still is very, 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 what's the correct word?
Underedited?
No, forgettable.
Apologies. I think you could say that about BB15 as a whole. Like, I think
I'd like to forget about BB15.
Well,
I'd like to forget about it.
Here's the funny thing. BB15 comes in between Big Brother 14 and 16.
2 amazing seasons.
So I think it very much gets...
AKA 14 and 16, 2 of the season that Ben and I have proclaimed as
our
at
favorites.
the top of the list.
Yes.
I think if you were to put a top 5, I think to not include 14 and 16 in the conversation would be an absolute dub of, sorry, what's called, is that
a
the
jip?
correct?
It'd be more of a jip than a dub.
Jipping, thank you. Snub, thank you. It's more of a, it's like, yeah. I think to not include 14 or 16 in the conversation of top 5 best Big Brother seasons would be snubbing it.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that one gets lost in the shuffle, whereas Big Brother 21, it came right after BB20, which a lot of people, I think, see positively. I don't know, I've not been the biggest BB20 fan, but that's just me. And then you have Big Brother 21, who has some good, house guests, I'm just looking it up here. I liked Nicole a good deal. I liked Cliff. I liked Jessica. Nick was funny.
Can I say?
David was great on 22.
Oh, I really liked Nicole, and I really liked Cliff as well. I have to agree with you there. The pre-jury is honestly better than the actual goddamn season itself. The post-jury. Honestly.
I don't know.
For the, in a lot of ways, in the sense of, Nicole, Cliff, and I agree with Nick, kind of redeem the post-jury, the jury itself. But I honestly would prefer David and Avi and Kemi and Isabel and Sam to most of the people that were in the post.
I mean, they brought David back for BB22, and I honestly thought he wasn't that bad, but whatever. Bottom line is BB21 not good, BB22 not good, BB23 and 4 good, very very good. I guess the $1 million question is, what did you like better, 23 or 24?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I think I would have to say...
Okay, here's what I have to ask you. On what level are we looking at this?
I guess just personal preference. I was going to say I much prefer... Not much prefer, but I think I'm going to say I prefer BB 24. Because despite Paloma being awful, despite Daniel being fucking awful, despite all the mistreatment early on in the game, despite every accusation against Kyle, I still found it a more fun season as it had great power shifts. The leftovers forming in Turner's HOH was amazing. Whereas BB23 was better overall, but it was way more of a steamroll by the cookout.
Yes. It was also much less controversial and much more enjoyable to watch from a standpoint of, not being made uncomfortable by it. I will say I still, to this day, am in awe of Tiffany and the master plan. I genuinely... I remember when I was talking to Ben about this, I was like, I don't know how people haven't thought of this earlier. It's brilliant. The idea to have a main alliance and form pairs and... if one person goes up, you always have the rest of the alliance plus their pairs to keep the person from the alliance and kick out the pair. Because everybody's looking at pairs more so than... I think pairs are more obvious than big alliances in most ways.
For sure.
Um,
Especially as showmances, but that's a whole other
no, yeah.
can of worms.
The thing is that when it comes to pairs, I feel like it's always comes to one of two extremes. Either they are very good at hiding it, or they're very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But this was using the idea of forming pairs and making it deliberately obvious, which is even more brilliant. But yeah, I have to agree with you.
So that's really all we have for Big Brother. So congratulations, Taylor, on
We're
all
so
of
happy.
the money.
We're so happy.
We're so happy. America is so happy. And Big Brother 25, I was hoping that it would be some sort of like second chance season or some sort of returnee season, but then again, BB22 was such a dud, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Also, because
They
it's
didn't
so
wanna go
recent,
back.
since it's so recent, I don't see it happening until probably say 30. And there are a few people that I will be expecting to see on our TV screens again.
Yeah. Like half the cookout I expect to come back.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's time for us to move on to
Survivor.
what we've been really waiting for, Survivor.
So, season 43, episode 1, Livin'. I thought it was good.
It was good.
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode of Survivor. I guess we'll start from the beginning. The opening challenge I thought was a lot of fun. I thought Cody... Okay, I will go out and say, at least at the moment, I was wrong about Cody.
We both were.
Because Cody played a very smart first episode, helping Vezi win with the flint and the bamboo pole. I thought that was just a really sick move, and I think he's going to do a little better than maybe we thought. There is still a chance for a flame out via the next time on Survivor, which we'll get to later. But
Well, Ben, regardless, I think by our prediction of him being the first boot, he already proved
I
us
never
wrong.
said he would be the first boot. I said he was going to flame out like hell.
Just in general, we did say early.
Yes.
So...
But we'll see. So that was cool. And then the new Savvy versus Sweat challenges. So for those who don't know, in Survivor 41 and 42, and I guess in 43, only the first tribe to win the opening reward challenge would get the basic camp supplies, and then from there, the other two tribes would have to go do a Savvy challenge, which is solving a puzzle in 4 hours, or a Sweat challenge, which was a more physically demanding puzzle, or I guess more physically demanding task in 4 hours. Now, in the past, the Savvy was like how many triangles are in this triangle,
Yep.
and then the Sweat was like fill up these 2 barrels of water. This time around, it's Savvy. It was like rearrange bones to form a certain...
the largest number possible.
And then Sweat was dig up your camp supplies in this square of sand. Coco chose Sweat, and that was Ryan really proving his worth. Ryan, I think, had a great opening episode.
He had a great episode. Just what I think we're both afraid of is, will this put too much of a target on his back?
I hope not, because I really like Ryan. I think Ryan's just a very fun...
And also the same goes for Sammy. Sammy had a great first episode.
Had a big edit this episode.
He had a great first episode. Again, just hopefully everything that he did for the tribe does not put too much of a target on his back.
And another big edit went to another member of Baka, Gabler. Who almost pulled a goddamn Zayn Knight after the immunity challenge.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely mental, but Sammy definitely, had the big edit because he was the one to solve the Savvy puzzle. He was the one who started fire at Baka. I hope he doesn't make himself a target based on that, because that could be really bad for his game. But I think he sort of knows that. And I think he's down. I think he's also a lot smarter than we, initially made him out to be. I don't think he's going to be the young super fan that flames out early.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be the super fan that flames out early, I hate to say it.
It's Dwight, right?
Or Owen.
Dwight or Owen. Owen, I think, did better, especially because he was able to flip any sort of potential blindside attempt at their first tribal. Dwight, and again, especially with the way the edit seemed in the next time on Survivor, I think he's probably first to go on Vezi, especially because he lost his vote.
Oh, yeah.
At Risky Rock, and I guess now we'll explain Risky Rock. So, they're doing this thing now in lieu of tribe swaps, which I don't like how they got rid of tribe swaps. I don't know about you, that was my favorite twist in Survivor. Love,
swap?
love, love tribe
Yeah.
swap. Tribe swaps. To this day. Incredible. So they had what was known by the fans as Shipwheel Island, where you would either risk your vote or keep your vote, and it was 3 people. If everyone protected their vote, everything's fine. If everyone risked their vote, they all lost their vote. And then if, like, say, one person risks it and the other 2 save it, then the person who risked it gets an advantage. Now, instead, they go to this, like, giant rock in the middle of the ocean, and they do sort of the same thing. They can risk their vote, not risk their vote, and then they pull, like, little advantages out of a sack.
Yeah.
So, this episode, it was Gabler, it was Dwight, and it was Carla who went. Carla did not risk her vote. Gabler and Dwight did. Gabler came away with a hidden immunity idol, which is not what I was expecting to say going into the season.
But what really interested me was the way that both Gabler and Dwight played it off. Gabler goes back and tells his whole tribe that he has it. And Dwight, it cut to Dwight, and then Dwight goes, well, I guess we now know that Gabler's got something. This is the issue with this play. Now they know that Dwight has no vote.
Mm-hmm.
So now it becomes a real risk for Dwight. Will he be able to get people on his side to pull it together and, get people to save him? Or will people see it as the easy out and say, hey, this guy doesn't have his vote, what's stopping us?
I think that's going to end up being the case, unfortunately. But we'll, again, get to that. So Immunity Challenge was one of those, like, everyone has to do something. There was a puzzle at the end, because there always was, but it was more of a, like one of those ball puzzles where they have to, like, get into the certain spots. Coco and Vezi come out with the wins. And in the moment, I gotta say, I was really disappointed that Baka had to go to Tribal. Because overall, they were probably my favorite tribe of the season so far. Because they just have such a fun energy about them. And I was really sad to kind of see them, like, just already go out like that.
Yeah.
So, and then fucking Gabler tries to go with, like, a million-headed level play, goes back to camp and is like, alright guys, I'm the one who lost us that challenge. I'm gonna play my shot in the dark tonight. What the fuck are you thinking?
I think he was thinking that he can, like, invoke sympathy from everybody else.
Which is exactly what Zayn did. For those who don't remember, Zayn Knight was on Survivor Philippines.
Yes.
Did that exact same thing.
And
got voted out first.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I don't know what Gabler was thinking, but honestly, I mean, to each their own, man. I wouldn't have done that. Damn. Well, I do think, at the same time, though, what would have happened if he didn't say anything, if he didn't do anything?
If he didn't do anything, then I think there was a very good chance people either kept with the thought of Mariah for quote-unquote being a leak wink, yes. Wait, am I doing
A weak link.
Fuck. I am tired, folks. So it was either that, or they say, well, Gabler's like, Gabler is an idol.
Gabler.
Do you think he's going to play it? Let's vote him out. But I also think Gabler is a very good physical aspect to them at the moment.
No, yeah. Very good physical asset for them right now. I think, speaking of the Baka tribe, we need to talk about Ellie, who had a very good first episode.
Yeah, I'd say solid. Very solid.
Really proving her strategical prowess. I really like Ellie going into this, and I really hope that she can continue this momentum because she's looking really good so far.
Mm-hmm. I think if there can be a more like I think this next episode is going to be huge, especially for just how alliances form overall and what's going to be more consistent alliances as the season goes on. But let's then get to Tribal Council, because going into it there were 2 very clear targets. There was Mariah for apparently being a weak link during the challenge, and then Owen. Do you remember why they targeted Owen?
I don't.
I'm trying to see.
I don't know what the idea was with Owen, but I think at the same time, though, it's very much so, like, first week shouldn't really be thought as too much, is because it is just the first week.
I remember it's because Mariah wanted a girls' alliance.
That's right.
With Ellie and Janine. So that was the whole thing, and they're like, well, Gable and Sammy are two good physical assets, so let's just vote out Owen.
Yeah.
And personally, I was worried going into it because I really wanted to see Owen stay. I really like Owen.
Yeah.
But Tribal Council has the weirdest fucking lighting this season, as it makes Jeff look like he's on an episode of Days of Our Lives. And I was
that's a good way of putting it.
That was really weird. And then I think the moment Mariah lost it, like the moment Mariah lost the game, like she knew she was being voted out, she was very much pitching a, like, you know, oh, if you had fun, you won type mentality.
That is a psychological term called rationalization.
Yeah, what the psych major said. That's very much what it was, and I think that sort of...
I think she's just trying to rationalize her loss to herself, kind of just convince herself, you had fun. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
She tried to pass it off as a moral victory, and I think that's really what set people off. But this does extend to my theory that she is just a rejected character from Abbott Elementary. She's from Philadelphia. She's a teacher, and she's from Philadelphia. She's a teacher, and she has that incredibly positive energy. Quinta Brunson, if you're listening, you know who to call for season 2. So Mariah was voted out 5-1. Gabler did the smart thing and didn't play a shot in the dark. Overall, solid episode. There's a lot more like strategizing and other camp life stuff that we can't for the life of us remember because we are college students and we are very fucking tired.
We have other things to do.
Yeah. Contrary to belief, after listening to these episodes, we have lives. Somehow, some way, we have lives.
And with that said, for next episode, I am making notes. I am going to be writing notes.
Yeah, we probably should. So, speaking of next time on Survivor, they showed bits from every individual tribe. For Baka, they just showed them getting, like, beat down by the weather. I'm sure that'll be wrapped up before the immunity challenge. Like, that's not really anything to go upon. And then on Coco, they had a confessional of Carla saying that, you know, Ryan and James think they can trust her, but that she really is working with the girls, Cassidy and Lindsay. So my question to you, Richard, is do you think that this Coco Girls Alliance will actually work out?
So Cassidy, Carla, and Lindsay, it can. It's also a matter of how the guys play it. If Ryan, James, and Gio can play it smart enough, then it won't work. But I also don't think the three of them will mesh together as well as the three girls will.
Easily.
I do think, based off of interactions in the first episode, there's a really good chemistry between Carla and Gio that I think, for the good of both of their games, could and should be used. I don't want to say exploited, but used. It's very common to find bonds, but they made a bond very quickly, and I think it's something that can be used to create a really good relationship for the two of them, and if the two of them can use it to their advantage, I think they should work together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, knowing how this game goes, it is really good to make a strong relationship on that first day, or what we see as the first episode. And Gio and Carla seem to click very well.
I agree, and I honestly think that if Coco does lose and the Girls Alliance does stick together, I could very well see them... James voting out James, because Ryan's too good of a physical asset. Gio is already in with Carla. James is the odd man out, so I could see him going home. Which would really suck, because I like James, but then again, I think it would be really cool to see a Girls Alliance work out. Because I don't really think
I agree.
I don't think we've really gotten that on Survivor in ever, maybe? Have we gotten like an all-girls alliance that has worked?
The Black
Widow Brigade. Wow, I'm an idiot.
Black Widow Brigade.
Yeah, but that was... Okay.
Also, Also, Kim's Girls Alliance from One World.
Okay, past Worlds Apart. Or not past Worlds Apart. Past One World. Like, past that.
I'm apologetic for the dead space right now because I'm just trying to think. I don't know, actually, honestly. It worked in past seasons before it... You know, okay, here's what I have to say.
I know that...
I
know Victoria used it as a ruse to vote out Aubrey in Edge of Extinction.
Here's what I want to say. I think that the social landscape of the world and society's ever-changing views has been very evident throughout both Survivor and Big Brother. With that said, I think it's telling that there's no more, like, girls' alliances. I don't think... It's always posed, but then the next episode it turns out that nothing happened and it's just glossed over.
Yeah.
And, you know, we pretend that it didn't exist, that it wasn't mentioned, but it was. But on the contrary, when you look at BB23, the cookout worked so well. I don't know. I think that if it was to be employed, it would work. I think it's a little bit difficult now with there only being 3 girls on each tribe. It is 50% on the tribe itself, but then you take it into the greater context of the game. And if we did have the tribe swap, if we had stuff like that where you can build up that girls' alliance and make it bigger, and that goes for any large alliance in the game of Survivor now, it's more difficult to execute because in the past, if you and I have a big alliance and then we get tribe swapped, then you and I can get people in on it, etc., while still maintaining the main core of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work as well anymore as it used to because of the new format of the game, I think.
Yeah. And again, there's always the fear that it will go the same way as the potential Baka Girls Alliance, which didn't work out and sent Mariah packing. But I want to believe this is different, and I want to see it work out, you know? Like, I want to see things go well for them, and I want to see them, I want to see them succeed. I would hate to see James go home, but I think it would be cool.
I think it makes the most sense.
Agreed. 100%. And then the other bit was on the Vezi tribe, where Cody was showing that wild side we perceived of him in the preseason, and Dwight was very adamant on getting him out. I am now thoroughly convinced that Vezi is going to tribal, and Dwight is going home. Right? Because...
Yeah...
Because again, next question, when was the last time something set up in a Next Time on Survivor actually happened? Cody, I think, is in very well with NECA and Jesse. I think,
which is a very interesting trio.
Yep.
Might we add?
And Noelle and Justine are tight. So I think if the 3 of them can rope in one, they'll rope in the other. Dwight doesn't have a vote. He's going to go the same way as Zach, and he's going to be a early 20s super fan that I care way too deeply about. So as long as Dwight can have a great Twitter, then we'll be good. But that is my prediction for this week, is Dwight's...
if Dwight has a great Twitter, then he can get verified too.
Exactly.
Get that blue check mark, Dwight.
So, as much as I hate to say it, I think Dwight is probably going home just based on the way the edit has set it up.
It's completely realistic, and yeah, I mean...
Unless...
2 weeks in, what is a smarter decision than to take out the easy vote of somebody who does not have a vote?
Exactly. And someone who is already sort of overplaying by being like, he's got to be our first target. You know, I genuinely think that there isn't really another good... what is another good option? Cody turning everyone on Justine because she's a salesperson? But then again...
But how much is that going to do? How much is that going to do?
Because even then, I think Noelle is way too tight with Justine, and she doesn't want to vote her out. So I think it could be a case where maybe if that does happen, she gets Dwight and Jesse, and they vote out Cody or NECA. I don't know.
I don't think it'll be NECA. If Cody blabs too much and it gets to Nicole, it'll get... Sorry, not Nicole, sorry. It'll get to Noelle, and then she'll take it to Justine, and, you know... They are, like you said, are very close, so I think they'll probably rope in, like you said, NECA, Dwight, and Jesse, and take Cody out. But I think when it comes to the Vezi tribe, I think the solid guys that we can tell, at least the way we see it now, will survive next week
Yes.
are NECA, Jesse, Noelle, and Justine.
Mm-hmm.
They look really good. I think. Did we not say that Justine and Noelle would be the best move for each other's games?
Yeah.
That they would go well
We
together?
did.
And they do. I really think they do. If they can pull in NECA and Jesse, that could make a very strong foursome that can probably survive them through to the merge.
Could that be? Yeah.
Unless they get Philippine and they just have to go to every tribal.
Well, they're already better than Matt Singh because they won
A challenge.
Jinx. But I honestly think, again, just the way it's being set up, I think it's probably Dwight. If Coco loses, it could be James if the Girls Alliance sticks together.
When it comes to Bezzy, it's either Dwight or Cody, and if it is anyone else on that tribe, I will genuinely be shocked.
Yeah. And then I think if Coco goes to Tribal, if the Girls Alliance sticks together, it's probably going to be James. If not, Carla maybe.
Carla could be perceived as playing too hard, which would make sense, but I also think she's playing it very well.
Mm-hmm.
She also made what, at least in my opinion, was a smart decision and kept her vote. You know, at this point in the game where you're such a small number as a tribe, one vote can make all the difference. So I really think Carla made the right decision, at least for this early stage in the game where every vote counts. The only time that I think it is a reasonable decision to risk your vote is if it's later in the game and you have already established a very good alliance that you can trust to save you. Say you lose that vote.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also need to count numbers. Is that alliance still the majority without your own vote?
Yeah.
If you have a 4-2 on a 6-person tribe and you're in that 4, it doesn't matter. Because then it's still a 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you
agree.
split your votes, then you still get then you still have a tie. So, yeah. I think Carla's in a good spot for now. It definitely helps a lot in making that argument that she did keep her vote. So, yeah.
I agree, and then, yeah, so I think Carla, if things go sour, but if not, probably James.
It's probably James on that tribe.
And then the other, Baka. At this rate, who goes home on Baka?
Recap, we have Ellie, Janine,
Gabler,
Sammy, and Owen. I hate to say it, it's Owen.
Probably, unless they decide, well, is Gabler going to be stupid enough to not play his idol?
Here's my other thought, though. I have to ask this question. At what point do they say it's time to get rid of Sammy? He's too strong physically.
I don't think they're going to say that for a while. I think they're going to keep Sammy around as long as they can. Because at the end of the day, he's the one that is going to be the strongest. Like, he was the first one out on the crate challenge. He was the first one, he was the first one out. I think he's going to be too much of a physical aspect. So I think he can easily make the merge at this rate.
I think it will. I think they can keep. I think by keeping Sammy and Gabler, they're keeping two very strong guys, as well as Owen and Owen's also very strong. And I think that they will. I honestly do see them having to eliminate at the most one more person pre-merge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there'll be a group of 4 going into the merge, and whoever that group of 4 is, I think the smartest decision to go into merge is to stay tribe strong at least for the first part of merge, unless they're already overlooming alliance lines drawn.
Mm-hmm. I say at the very least for your first tribal as a tribe, you stick together, you do what you can to, keep everything strong, and then if you go a second time, that's when the real strategizing can start, I would say.
But that's what I also like about the then Shipwheel Island, now Risky Rock, is that it brings in the ability now to reach out and branch out to other tribes moving forward. How much do we think, as a genuine question, how much do we think will come out of the Gabler, Carla, and Dwight group?
I don't know, because again, a lot of it depends on how long all of them stay in the game. But again,
but say they all make it to merge, do we see something in that group?
Potentially. Because we did see something like that in Survivor 41, where Liana and Shan, after going to Shipwheel Island, basically stuck together with each other until they were both voted out.
Yeah.
And then you have something like 42 where you had the summit, but nothing really came of anything. In fact, I think the most people, like, stuck together, at least somewhat, was right after the merge, where Hai, Drea, and Lindsay all stuck together because of the Advantage Amulet, which, sidebar, I'd like to see them bring back. I thought that was cool. But
I agree.
Either way, I don't really know, and I don't think we're going to know until we see who makes the merge, and if they were really, like, you know, if they were really sort of feeling it, so to speak. That's just my 2 cents.
No, I agree for the most part, yeah.
Alright, well, I think
that's all we got for Survivor, but I think we can talk about some Amazing Race here really quickly.
I'm going to let you take the lead on that. I was half paying attention.
We'll
have more.
We had a great first episode.
Derek and Claire, baby, let's go.
Derek and Claire did very well.
Big brother representation.
I mean, first place on this leg. How did you feel about Asta and Nina going out? I mean, I like them, but
Unimpressed.
I think what's also kind of difficult is the fact that when you look at it, it's hard to. And I think this goes for any reality show. It's hard to kind of connect with the first person because you don't really know them that much. What did you get? The intros and then like that first episode, but you can actually connect with more people down the line. The only people that I think we would have had a bigger reaction to was if Derek and Claire went out or if Rex Ryan went out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Rex Ryan's just funny. The fact that fucking Rex Ryan is on The Amazing Race is just really goddamn funny to me.
I was laughing really hard at Rich and Dom when they were cutting the log and watching all of the other teams just finish the crap in a minute and go.
They're gonna flame out so hard that's gonna be incredible.
While Rich and Dom are still going, Dom's half crying.
Like, the funny thing is, especially from Rich and Dom's intro, I knew exactly what kind of motivational speakers they were. The ones that I would never fucking listen to in school. It's not a shot at them. I'm sure they're great at what they do. With that said, like, you're a motivational speaker. Talk each other up! It's The Amazing Race. It's a team participating thing.
I mean, I guess they kind of tried, ?
Tried, yeah, that's one way to put it. Oh, I just thought it was funny. And then, who else did I laugh at? Trying to look at the list here. Luis and Michelle. Just, they argued a lot while doing the log cutting, and I thought that was funny.
The log cutting was really funny because you saw the pairs that really did it the correct way and got it done very quickly. I'm so surprised that Rich and Dom survived because, I mean, they also, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty tough time with the barrel roll as well, but Asta and Nina really had a tough time with that barrel roll.
Well, I guess then that leads me to my another question. What did you think of the Amazing Race Scramble?
I liked it. It brought a new kind of essence of panic, per se.
I'd say suspense.
Suspense. You didn't know. I mean, first of all, it was the one thing as a viewer. At times, I'm glad with the graphics, but at the same time, at times it was kind of difficult to remember who had completed what and had what left to do. Mm-hmm. If they had kept that mini graphic up for everyone every single time, like even if it was like smaller, like it would have been a little bit easier to kind of keep track of who had finished what task. But with that said, I like the idea of you pick where you go. You need to complete all three, but you pick what order you go in. Because it also brought in the idea of where do you think the pit stop's going to be? Mm-hmm. And what is the best place to end, in keeping in mind that you need to go from one place to said pit stop. What if it's... Well, it made generally like a half circle kind of shape. Like, what if it was closer to one end or the other end? Or what if it's in the dead center? Mm-hmm. You never knew.
I agree, and I also really like how we mentioned before, it is the suspense, because it's always a matter of now you don't know how far ahead you are or how far behind you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's really goddamn cool. I think that's a great sort of mix-up, as is the non-elimination lights.
I think it's a great way to open the season. But what would your strategy be, let me ask, if you had to do the scramble? I know I said this when we were watching, but I think my strategy, at least when getting directions from people, would be how do you get to every stop? And conversely, how do you get from each stop to the other one?
I agree. But can we also talk about how at the top of the episode, let me see if I can remember the names here. Not
Oh, yeah. It was, oh my goodness. I'm going to be so frustrated with myself.
Wasn't Aubrey... Was it Emily and Molly?
It was Emily and Molly.
Wait.
No, it wasn't. It was, my goodness. It's going to really frustrate me.
It wasn't Rich and Dom. It wasn't Tim and Rex.
But I think, okay, I'll describe it as you try to figure it out. But I remember it was two individuals were getting directions from somebody, from natives.
Was it
from
the
locals.
pair who got eliminated?
I don't know, but I remember
I'm going to Paramount Plus. I
that.
figure this out.
Yeah, you got it, and I'll explain. There was a pair that was getting directions from locals, and just great editing, great shot from two Newhouse kids. The shot was great. Great framing. It had the pair and then the locals, and then in between you could see
Every other team.
cars going by. And to make it even better, the little graphic pops up from the car showing the names of every team driving away and driving past.
Funny. Yeah, can we also talk about editing in both Amazing Race and Survivor? I thought the editing in Survivor this season was great. The drone shots are some of the sickest shit I have ever seen on reality
No, the drone
TV.
shot was great.
God, insane stuff. And then like they did really funny, like cheeky things in the first 4 minutes, like Sammy's jobs popping up, Owen getting his own opening title credit, which, please, for the love of God, bring back the opening credits. That also goes for Big Brother, although they have more of an excuse because Marvin had to drop out and they had to replace him with Joseph. That's a fun what if. What if Joseph never played on BB24?
Oh, wow.
Because he was a replacement.
But you know what? I really, really like Joseph.
It was the pair.
Let it be said.
Yeah, it was the pair who was eliminated.
But yeah, no, I think the editing, CBS does a great job with very cheeky edits.
Yeah, and it showed here, and I thought it was great. So yeah, I have not been all that. I've never been all that much of an Amazing Race fan, but I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was fun, and I'm rooting for Derek and Claire. I also really like Abby and Will, who are the childhood sweethearts. I just think they're adorable.
Yeah,
I
really like Derek and Claire. Obviously, I'm really rooting for them, but I just think overall the pairs are very likable. I think there's at least for now. I mean, this is how it tends to be after the first episode, but there's nobody that I can point out from either show that I dislike or hope goes home. Like, there's nothing yet. Whereas like with Big Brother, it was like, Daniel, can you please leave this house now? Mm-hmm. Here there's no there's no team that I dislike.
I love the fact that Paloma and Daniel and Nicole and Amira all got the privilege to watch Taylor win $800,000 in a cruise. That is karma, baby. And I think that's hilarious.
I think it's very fitting for, of all the winners, for it to be Taylor to be the first to ever win both the whole season as well as America's Favorite House Guest.
Yeah, and she totally deserves it. Like 20 years, I think it was 20 years to the day
Danielle Reyes
lost BB3.
I mean, Danielle Reyes, in my opinion, arguably one of the greatest to never win the game.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal on BB3.
I agree.
But yeah, I think a great week of episodes, a great Wednesday of first episodes of premieres.
Yeah.
And I think we're really hopeful for next week and for some really good episodes.
We are. CBS, you're doing good with the whole... You've always been doing good, but you are still doing good with the reality game. Thank you.
Please don't ruin that. Please don't make us eat our words.
Yes. Well, okay. They almost ruined it with Big Brother. Big Brother 24 was almost really, really bad. and it turned out to be really, really good. You got lucky. Survivor 43, Amazing Race 34, going well so far. I'm hoping for the best, and I'm hoping that, I don't know, Justine is voted out or something. I just don't really care for Justine.
I like Justine. I don't. I feel like sometimes you do this stuff to annoy me. Thank you guys for listening. I think that's a great way to end this, with Ben just poking fun at me.
Give me a reason to care about Justine. I'm serious.
I wish that your favorite player of the season was somebody that I was like genuinely just like meh, in the same way.
Is Justine really your favorite player of the season?
No,
okay,
not at all,
good.
not at all. But do I like Justine to your opposition to her? Yes.
Fair enough. That's why we do this, folks. That's why people have differing opinions, and that's why humans are sometimes really cool.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.